Okay, I think I'm live. I think I am live. I can't believe I'm up here right now. I've been ready to go live. I want to say since noon today, and ADHD always wins. My perfectionism, my anxiety, okay, always, always, always wins. So if you see this live, thank you for tuning in. um, I'm gonna go ahead and go live on TikTok too. Give me a moment because I'm pushing myself to fight my perfectionism, and you guys are helping me a whole lot, and I appreciate that. I have to be somebody that practices what they preach because I have clients that struggle with the same issues that I do, and my motto is to never walk them through something that I wouldn't be willing to go through myself. So, this is for me and them. Let me see and get on my TikTok and log in. If you can hear me and see me, let me know. Chat with me. Watching. Okay, okay, okay. Mm, hold on. Okay, hold on. Set up TikTok as well. Okay, okay. We're back. I still can't believe. I cannot believe I'm up here right now. This is this is something. This is something right here. Okay, so welcome to my live stream. Literally great if you're watching me on YouTube. I have restarted my YouTube channel so many times. That's how bad my perfectionism is. I probably started YouTube probably like 20 times already. But I'm here because I do know that my story and things that I've gone through and experiences that I've had being a part of other people's journeys is what helps people. Okay, so that's the type of spiritual, psychological life coach that I am. My name is Latanya McDonald, and I used to be a therapist. I'm a former therapist turned spiritual, psychological life coach. And what that means is that I have a master's degree in psychology, but I made the switch to life coach because it just gives me more freedom. I'm someone that is a habitual rule breaker. So I don't really, when it comes to rules, that's not my thing. But I'm also a person that likes to go above and beyond to help the people that I care about. Can you guys all hear me? Let me put in my headphones. But yes, I'm someone who likes to go above and beyond to help people. Okay. And like I said, through my story, I have ADHD, anxiety, and depression, and I wasn't diagnosed with that early on. I was kind of diagnosed later in life. And when I went to school for my master's degree, I you learn about the different symptoms and mental disorders, or I think they try to find they're trying to find another word for that, but you learn about those things, and we are required to go to therapy ourselves in order to graduate. So you learn a lot about yourself when you decide to go and get your master's degree in psychology. Well, you should be, right? I am not a person that does not like to take their own medicine. You know how they say that doctors are the worst patients? They are. They definitely are the worst patients. But I would feel like an imposter if I didn't take my master's degree seriously, but also if I'm going to be asking people to bare their souls with me and let me in on their journey and let them help me, I have to be willing to do the same thing myself. So that's what I did. Okay. And if you've been a subscriber or a follower for however long you were, thank you. Because yes, I am not consistent at all. At all. I'm an absentee content creator. I really, really am. Not when it comes to my clients, though. When it comes to my clients, I'm there. That's my favorite thing to do. But the content thing, my perfectionism, me and my perfectionism be at war. Okay? Me and my perfectionism is at war on a consistent and constant basis when it comes to putting myself out there outside of the things that I do naturally, right? Which is help people, be an intuitive type of person, showcase my spiritual gifts in order to help people, right? Um, that is that is the struggle. That is the struggle. But yes, I'm going to ramble a whole lot on this live stream because, again, I'm pushing myself to just do it, to get out of my perfectionist head, okay, and just put myself out there and let people see me, because that's a big fear of who will see me, what will they say, will they misunderstand me? That part is a huge fear. I think a lot of people have that fear of being misunderstood. Um, and a lot of that unsureness, a lot of that perfectionism also comes from how we were raised. If you were raised in a strict household, if you've ever felt like your parents were kind of hard on you or whatever the case may be, um, You may have been raised by people who had ADHD and the symptoms that you may suffer from as well. A lot of these things are hereditary, okay? But uh I'm I'm um I'm a work in progress, right? And it's very easy for me to help somebody else. Like how I work, somebody could ask me a question and I would know the answer. And oftentimes I don't know how I know the answer, but it's always the right answer at the right time. That's a gift that I have. A lot of other people have that gift too. And I am now learning to use my diagnoses as my superpower, right? I don't want it to continue to take over. It's kind of like having a loaded gun and not knowing how to use it, right? Or having a superpower and not having control over it, right? When you allow your diagnosis to take over and you don't put things in place to help you function with your diagnosis, which is you can how you can help yourself function with it is by going to therapy, okay, or getting a life coach, or having accountability, right? If you feel more comfortable that way, tell your friends the things that you're struggling with and have them hold you accountable and push you and help you get out of your own way, get out of your own head, okay? That is always, always, always helpful. So, I decided I was going to get on here and go live, and I'm going to find a way to repurpose this content. Okay. And there's some things that I want to talk about. So, if I am coming off, well, who cares how I'm coming off? Because guess what? That doesn't matter. If you're meant to see me and hear my voice, you will. Okay. If you're meant to be helped by something that I have to say, you will be. If I turn you off, you're meant to be turned off. I can't worry about that because that is letting my perfectionism win. And we're not doing that no more. Okay? We're done with that. So, um, ADHD hacks. That is something that has been on my mind, and I really want to share the things that actually do work. Okay? I am someone who is, when it comes to my community, mental illness, it's there's a stigma around mental health and therapy and things of that nature. Okay. So there's a lot of us, a lot of people that look like me, black people, okay, people of color. There's a lot of people that are walking around that have these symptoms or have mental illness and have no idea that that's what it is, okay? Why they're experiencing the world in the way that they do, okay? And I I understand that it doesn't look the same in everybody, right? Mainly when people think about ADHD, they think about maybe people that can't pay attention, or they think about people that maybe like children, that have like a short attention span, um, that are maybe unruly, that get in trouble a lot, and things of that nature. And how my ADHD showed up was that I was either very talkative in the classroom or very, very quiet. Okay. There was no in between. I was either getting in trouble for talking too much or I was getting in trouble for not raising my hand. Okay. Also, my mind is constantly going. So people may feel like I was unfocused, but the truth of the matter is, somebody can say one thing, like this is a normal conversation. Someone can say one thing that resonates with me, and my mind is thinking about that one thing, right? Or it may show up in when I have conversations with people, I interrupt them. I'm not trying to be rude, but when I interrupt them, it's we have this fear that we're going to forget our thought, and we want them to know that we're listening and we hear them, and we're trying to, when you're having a conversation with somebody, you're trying to connect with them. So it's really harmless when us that have ADHD interrupt you. Like, we really want you to know that we can hear you, we're listening, and we're afraid that we're going to forget what we have to say. Because when I do, with regular family and friends, when I do the regular, mm-hmm, mm-hmm, they'll they get upset. But that is me trying to reassure them that I'm listening, but also me trying to stay on track with the conversation and find some way to put whatever thoughts that I'm having right to the side so I don't forget them. Okay. So if you can relate, comment below. But ADHD hacks that actually work. My Alexa. Okay. I love Alexa. And I got this tip from Cast the Clutter Bug on YouTube, and she has ADHD as well. And she has a home organization type base, like niche or whatever the case may be. And she also talks about ADHD hacks. But Alexa be saving my life, okay? Anything as far as my schedule, right? I put it in my Alexa. I have Alexa also connected to my calendar, and I should have turned Alexa off because, we don't want Alexa putting anything in her database. It actually it's a him. It's a he. Okay. But we don't want Alexa putting anything in her database that I don't want to be there. But Alexa is so helpful to me when combining what I have to do for the day, as well as what else does it do? Oh, so I listened to a guy named Jim Quick, and it's Jimkwik here on YouTube. And he taught me about the Pomodoro method. And I want to say it's a Chinese method or Asian method. That's where it originated. But it's basically where you break things up into small bites, right? Um, oh, thank you for the glitter badge. I appreciate that. Um, would IK try 30K? What is that your equals 30 coin? Is that your name? Sorry if I messed it up, but thank you. Okay, so the Pomodoro method is basically where you break things up into small chunks, right? So, what I would do is, for instance, if I have an hour block, I will break that up into 20 minutes so that I can get a breather, a break. My brain can breathe a little bit. Um, I would take like a 5 minute break where I might, leave the room or leave the space that I'm at and go drink some water. Just change the scenery, right? So instead of just trying to power through my workday or whatever the task is that I have to do, I'm able to take breaks. And I was able to schedule breaks with my Alexa. So Alexa would remind me to take a break throughout my day, right? Um, and it will remind me to come back to work. Like, it's usually 5 minute breaks. So at the 5 minutes, it'll say, take a break and drink some water, because I do forget to drink water. Okay. And then it'll say, um, check your schedule. So after that 5 minute mark, it'll say, check your schedule. So I come back, look on my schedule, and do whatever it is that I need to do. Now, I said in the beginning, I am somebody that likes to break rules. I'm also somebody that gets bored very easily, which is, I think I put on I think that's in my chart too, my astrology chart. Um, but if you know anything about astrology, but I am someone who, yeah, like I get bored easily. I like routines, but my routines have to consistently change, right? And then also, because I do like to break rules, yes, I don't always listen to Alexa, so I gotta be honest about that. But, how I reframe that is by I give myself grace, right? And I reward myself for the time that I do listen to Alexa, for the time I do remember, even if it's just one time out of however many times Alexa told me to get up and drink some water or take a break. I still reward myself, give myself grace when whenever I am able to follow through with whatever that is. Okay? So that is something that you guys can definitely try if you have or you suffer with, procrastination, or you suffer with trying to stay focused or stay on task and things of that nature. You can get Alexa to help you. You can program Alexa, like whatever your schedule is, even the notifications. If you don't have a regular Alexa, you could download the app and you can have notifications sent to your phone, okay? That, hey, around this time of the day, however many times of the day it could be every hour or every other hour, whatever the case may be, or every 20 minutes, 25 minutes, 30 minutes, however you want to schedule it. Put reminders on your phone, okay? Put reminders on your phone telling you to take a break, okay? Another ADHD hack that I use every morning. Routines are important when you have ADHD. I hate to break it to you, but it is. It really, really, it truly is, because they're like quick wins. Okay, so I have a morning routine, and part of my morning routine is meditation. The next part would be, of course, hygiene, take my medication, okay, for my ADHD, which I take regularly, and um, to have like leisure time, whether that's cleaning up, some self care, or it's playing games on my phone, okay. I have a morning routine of stretching, maybe a little dance break, all right. That is helpful for me when it comes to me having ADHD. Now, when it comes to meditation, a lot of people feel like they have to. Mm, when it comes to meditation, a lot of people feel like their mind has to be completely quiet or they're not doing it right. Right? If you got ADHD, your mind is never quiet. Ever, ever, ever. So go ahead and let that go. It's okay. Burn that, right? Bury that, and just let that go. Let that go on, okay, to infinity and beyond, because it's not a thing. So don't put that pressure on yourself to have your mind quiet, right? During meditation. Even you just being able to recenter yourself, right? Even if it's a sound to bring you back to being grounded, you're doing it right. So I use guided meditation, which is I use the Calm app. And some people, you need to check to see if you do have health insurance, because there are some health insurance that will cover the subscription costs for Calm. Okay. But I use the Calm app, and I always use the guided meditation, and they have so many different meditations on there that you can click on, okay, and allow that to be part of your morning routine or part of your routine when you feel overwhelmed and you need to ground yourself, okay. But it is really, really my saving grace. And, you know, usually after the meditation asks me to breathe in and breathe out a couple of times, I'm usually in the stratosphere thinking about something else. I don't care. It still helps me because I'm able to come back to the voice, right? I'm able to come back to the voice of the meditation. So that part is extremely helpful. It really is. It truly is. So, hmm, I think is that are those all the tips? Yeah, those are helpful, y'all. They're really they are. And if you've never been diagnosed, okay, with ADHD, but you feel like you have some of the symptoms, which could be the procrastination, it could be the um a lack of focus, right? It could be the impulsivity, okay? It shows up a tad bit different in men than it does women. And women is a lot of women, they don't get diagnosed very early because of how different it looks. You know, the mental illness, the mental health space is still a work in progress. So there's still things that they're finding out that could be helpful to people. But um, go to your primary care physician and tell them, hey, I am experiencing certain symptoms and I want to know if I might have, you know, ADHD. And they'll give you like a questionnaire, okay? And you'll fill out the questions. And they might say, okay, let's let's refer you right to someone, a therapist or whatever the case may be, or they might ask you if you want to try medication, right? Now, yes, medication is for a lot of people it's scary, okay? And for me it was scary too, but I got to tell you, I wouldn't change a thing. I would do this all over again. Now the depression medication, not so much because the depression medication has you depends on, and everybody it affects people differently. But I remember when I was on Zoloft and I was very, very calm to the point where it kind of scared my family. Like I was not reacting to anything. Like the I don't want to say the empathy was gone, but I don't know. I just had a very, very flat reaction to certain things. I'll just say that. That's how it starts off. And then, it'll adjust to your body after a period of time. You might have certain side effects. And any side effect that you don't like, you do need to make sure that you're staying on top of it and talking to your primary care physician or whoever prescribed the medication for you, okay? But now on the other hand, the Adderall, yeah, the Adderall is my favorite thing. And I'm somebody who, yeah, I went to undergrad and things of that nature, but I didn't drink, I didn't smoke, okay? Don't curse. I was just that's the type of person that I was, okay? And I'm not really somebody that falls into peer pressure. I've never been that girl. And that's also in my chart, my astrology chart, okay, which is very, very, very helpful as well as helping me understand myself outside of the psychological sense and the trauma that I've experienced. But yeah, I didn't drink, I didn't smoke or anything. So, and of course, I already told you, me being a black woman, there's a stigma, and not just being a black woman, an Afro Caribbean black woman. Okay, parents are from Guyana. My family's from Guyana, but this medication therapy, okay, is taboo there. But I don't know. I had woke up one day and decided that I wanted to fight for my life. Like I wanted to make sure that I was going to try every and anything if I'm going to still be here on this earth, okay? I want to try any and everything to help me live the best life that I can, especially when I'm trying to inspire other people to do the same. So that's what I did. Okay. And that's what made me open to trying medication. Okay. Now, it's if you have addiction in your family, Um, I don't know. I don't know if people could be addicted to Adderall. I'm not quite sure if it has an addictive. I know that it is an upper for sure. And not to say addiction and abuse of substances, it's a like it's an in between, but they're a tad bit different. Okay, there's a tad bit different, and there's things that you can use to supplement for, as far as to help you with your focus and things of that nature. Of course, changing your diet, becoming more active, exercise, right, can help you with your ADHD or any I would say, hmm, I don't know what the word is that I can give you guys that does not sound like psychological jargon. When I figure it out, when it comes to me, I'll let you know. But for ADHD, for anxiety, for depression, those specifically, exercise, having a strong community support system, having hobbies, okay, any sort of thing that brings you joy outside of the regular stresses of life, right, can be helpful. Okay. It can very, very, very much be helpful outside of medication. But I do like the Adderall, and yes, I would like for more time to not. I would at some point in my life to not need it, right? Um, So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see when we get there. But for now, it hasn't haven't had a negative effect on me. The only thing that can be sort of a downer when it comes to Adderall is that when you're not on it, okay, and that is usually the days that when I don't work. It's usually Sunday. When you're not on it, your body wants to sleep. Okay, your body does not want to do anything because it's been like right all day every day, right? Even the days that I do take Adderall, there's a certain time of the day when everything wears off and I don't work myself to the bone. Okay. Um, there's a certain time where I just look to my husband and I say sleeps. And whatever ain't got done, it's not getting done. When that Adderall wears off, it's a wrap. Okay, it is a complete wrap when that Adderall wears off. I promise you that. All right. And I am gone to the world. Like this is nothing you could do. And hopefully I've taken my shower and everything and eating and everything before that hits. That's the only thing. And then, of course, Sundays, the whole day, like I be fighting for my life to wake up because the perfectionism and how I was raised and things of that nature, especially when you're adult, some of us feel like if we are sitting still, we're not doing enough, right? Because there's always work to be done. So you can feel guilty for resting, right? Even how you're treated, your experience. My experience as a Black woman outside of my ADHD, depression, and anxiety, people are always looking to me to fix something. Okay. So oftentimes when I say I'm tired, depending on who I say it to, they're like, "Mm, yeah, right. We didn't seen you be superwoman. Uh, 23 23/6. You can't tell me you can't go this 1 hour, just one more day, okay, and do this thing for me, even though I'm watching you like work and work and work and work and do things and help people and this and that. That part, that part is frustrating. Okay. But that's where that guilt comes, that training, right? Of being always on and being perfect all the time or trying to be perfect all the time and trying to get as much things done so you're not looked at as lazy. Oh, lazy. A lot of people got ADHD, depression, and anxiety, right? And they were called lazy for maybe their room wasn't always tidy or they waited to the last minute to do their project that they knew about, you know? um in advance, right? So the process of healing, when you do address these symptoms, whether it's going to therapy or getting a life coach or getting this going to a support group or whatever the case may be, you start to reframe. You have to do the process of reframing what things actually mean, right? So it wasn't that you're lazy, you wanted everything to be perfect, or you got overwhelmed, or you went into that analysis paralysis, which is a thing. Okay, you went into that analysis paralysis and it stopped you from even trying. Okay, and it's a constant battle. It truly is. And when it comes to working on yourself, all right, it is important that first you acknowledge that this is something that affects you. And they teach us in the psychology program that it becomes a mental illness or a diagnosis when it affects your school, your work, your health, right? Your way of life. When whatever you're doing is getting in the way of you doing the normal everyday responsibilities, that's when it is considered, right? A diagnosis, and you need to have some help. Get some help, right? And for me, it's not about getting help. It's mainly about I deserve help. Like, what else could it possibly mean? I had to get out of that ego space, of the willingness to want to do everything by myself and on my own. Yes, it feels good, okay, to be independent, but I felt like I paid my dues throughout my life with not having the support and having this diagnosis and nobody knowing what it was, and them labeling and putting these negative titles onto me. And part of it is because they were putting it onto themselves, right? And remember, a lot of these symptoms can be a lot of these symptoms can be hereditary, okay? So I know a lot of people who had parents in the military. It's a strong chance that they might have um, OCD or OCDP, right? I mean OCPD. Okay. Um, the people usually that are the most intelligent, or the people that might come from a household where the mom or the father couldn't keep a job, or they were always switching careers, or they always had to move and things of that nature, it's a strong chance that parents probably had ADHD, right? Or um if you were raised by maybe one of your parents had anger issues where like anything will set them off and things of that nature, it's a strong parent, it's a strong, or they're very pessimistic, right? Strong possibility that person might have had depression, right? So that's where it comes from. And while doing this process, when doing this process of trying to heal yourself or try to make your symptoms, right, or your diagnoses your superpower, you have to retell the story, rewrite the story, and get out of your own way, right? You can't tell the story the same any longer. You just can't. It doesn't make sense to. It doesn't. Okay? Now we'll help you. That's what you should do. Um, what else did I want to speak about? And thank you again, anybody who's tuning in. Okay. I'm gonna say it again. I cannot believe I'm doing this live right now, because the truth of the matter is social media and content creation, it is me in content creation be at war, okay? Because my perfectionism loves to fight me when it comes to producing content, right? It's much easier for me to just do my podcast or not come on camera, period. Much easier for me to just work with my clients, okay? Much easier for me to just do that than it is to put myself out there and let people know that I'm here, okay, as a support for them should they need my services. It's very, very difficult. Okay, this is because the perfectionism. Like, I need the lighting to be right. I need the decor to be on point. I need my voice to sound a certain way. I need my makeup to be done a certain way. Like, it's so much. Okay, so I'm up here today randomly, not trying to make any promises, but I'm being accountable for myself and I'm pushing myself to just do it, be out there, show people who I am, regardless of whether it's perfect or not. Okay. So this particular this particular live stream that I will be repurposing as far as content and sharing tips and things of that nature on my social media channels. It's a win for me. Okay. You don't know. And I don't know how long. If you're here, please, follow the channel, but I can't make any promises, right? The reason why I can't make any promises because I'm still a work in progress when it comes to this perfectionism thing. But I know my story helps people. I know my authenticity helps people, right? And it's worth it at the end of the day when I can come back and share and fight through it, the best way possible, utilizing my resources so I can let people know it's okay, right? To show up this way. This is something that I would tell a client to do. I have on my desk, I have sticky notes. Okay, that also helps. Have little sticky notes like this. Okay, it's backwards, but have little sticky notes like this around my desk. Okay, that one says progress, not perfection, is my goal. All right, that is also a great hack to help you um take the first step if you know that ADHD is a struggle, okay, for you. Now, I did put on my TikTok that I was going to say something a little bit about astrology. Um so the study of yourself, okay? Regardless of whether you decide to go into the esoteric sciences or you start to do a whole family tree and get your family tree stories and listen to the things that they've gone through, right? The, the study of you is very, very powerful, very, very helpful when it comes to being able to heal, but also inspire your movement, right? To get you out of that dark space, um, to be understood, right? To understand yourself is to be your authentic self. It really is. It's to be whole, right? Uh Now, as far as astrology has really, really, really helped me a whole lot. Okay. I wasn't into it at all. I wasn't. It was not a thing for me. And I remember one of the first times someone, read me down about being a Pisces, and they said something like, "Oh, you're Pisces. You guys like to blow up the train, and with everybody in it, and then go back and try to save everybody." And that's after you just blew it up. And you know what? This is correct, right? But at the time, I was like, "No, no, no." But I think a day or two had passed, and I thought back, and I was like, "You know what? That's actually true, right?" And that same person that helped me understand that when I decided to dive deeper into like the signs and things of that nature, and learn more about myself. So there's a lot of information that resonated with me, and there's certain things when it comes to astrology that people can't hide. Even celebrities that get on here and pretend to be one way, right? If you know their zodiac sign, there are certain things that they do. that it's like, okay, this matches that particular personality type, right? Now, your full astrology chart, you're going to see that you have a mixture of all 12 signs, right? And you can exhibit in certain areas of your life, from the way that you talk, from the way that you think, from the way that you love, from the things that inspire you, from the way you're more comfortable making money, like all from the way that you look, everything, right? That's in your chart. You can see that those characteristics from that particular sign or that zodiac sign, if it's in your chart, you may exhibit that, right? And one of the first things that I did was I was told to do was to look at the people around me, okay, that I know that have that certain zodiac sign, and their start to connect their personalities, right? And that part, it started to make sense. Okay. It started to make sense. If you follow my channel, go look at my shorts. If you're on YouTube, go using my TikToks. If you're on TikTok watching me right now. But um if you can relate to anything that I've said, okay? Well, go look at the comments first of all. Go look at the comments. And I think the only people the only the only people that is maybe a part of that zodiac sign, right? If I'm talking about them, okay? The only people that will disagree are the people that like to argue. And people that like to argue are Sagittarians or Geminis. Sagittarians more than Geminis. But those will probably be the only ones that, and their favorite word for sure, Sagittarius is I disagree. Go look and think about the Sagittarians in your life. All right, if you're a Sagittarius, think about how you are, okay? If you feel the urge to say no first, right? Okay. Like little things like that got me hooked. And, it's very, very helpful for my clients. I was able to combine um astrology with my therapy when I was still seeing therapy clients. Now I see life coaching clients, but I was able to combine it a tad bit when I knew what their sign was with I was able to understand the things that they weren't saying, right? And I had a deeper understanding of their story, of even the things that they didn't know they had to say or that they could say. Okay. And whenever I got the response, like, well, yeah, that's true, or especially if they didn't intend to tell me something, it was in their head, but they didn't feel like they needed to tell me. Yeah, especially that Sagittarian favorite word is I disagree. It is. Now that's one thing. If I when I do tell them that, they wouldn't they won't disagree with that. Oh, and they're also the ones, Sagittarians might also be the ones that are like, oh, I argue just so we can make up. Might be them, okay? Or somebody might have Sagittarian placements in their chart. But knowing your birth chart, okay, or getting a reading and doing that work to study yourself, and even if you're not into astrology, doing that work to understand where you come from, okay, you get so much validation. You get upper hand in being able to retell your story, rewrite your story, and reframe the negative perception that you might have about yourself. Yeah, it's it's very, very helpful, okay? Knowing what your chart is. Um, but yeah, if you've ever, wondered about that, um, how astrology can help you understand yourself, help you understand other people, comment below what your zodiac sign is, right? The main question we always get is, am I compatible with this person? It depends on their full chart, not just their initial sun sign, okay? Depends on their full chart. It also depends on their trauma. It also depends on if they're how aware they are of themselves. Okay, that also depends. And I like to also help my parents, the parents that come to me with their children. Um, Not necessarily always put the child in therapy, but my clients that have children. I remember I was able to help one of my clients get her son out of alternative school, right, into a charter school. Okay. Now, alternative schools, y'all know what that is. Those are alternative schools when you are misbehaving. Okay. And you have a lot of problem issues, and the teacher can't seem to get a handle on you. So they may suggest to have your child go to alternative school, right? Now, when I found out this child was an Aquarius, I was like, oh, Aquarius they got big brains. Okay. Aquarius, they only make bad decisions when they're bored. Period. And that's all the way up into adulthood. They're not bad, they just bored. Okay. So while the child was in alternative school, I let the parent know, hey, after the child is finished with their work, right? Have the child go and help other, because they're gonna finish their work and they're gonna pass every test. Okay. Have the child go and help the other students, or give the child a authoritative role like a line leader or teacher's helper, and watch their behavior change, right? Also, Aquarian children, they want to be a part of the group. They like their individuality, but they definitely want everybody to feel seen and heard. So oftentimes they will dumb themselves down so nobody else feels threatened. So everybody feels included and heard and a part of the group, right? They're very team oriented. Okay. So um if you have a child that's an Aquarius, and if you have them around children that are also misbehaving, or they don't really do well in school, the Aquarian child will hold themselves back. Okay. Put that Aquarian child with people that are smarter than them, and they will excel, right? um That's where they need to be. And it's a lot, listen, it's a lot of, unfortunately, people that just get certain labels. But astrology, knowing the different signs, okay, knowing their personality traits, that's something that has definitely helped me help people. So if you're interested in a reading, go to my website, liveandbegreat.com, and go look at the services that I offer. They're very, very helpful. Go look at the reviews, okay? Do that, because, like, that's what I love to do. That's my gift. And I help other people find out what their gifts are, because we all got them, every last one of us, right? And it'll be a shame to live in this lifetime and not be able to tap into that, right? Because if you don't use it, you lose it. Okay. And I want to apologize if people have been chatting and I haven't been able to read it, but this is one of those tasks where I was like, I got to just do it. I got to just do it. So it wasn't really planned out, right? Not consistent when it comes to social media. I'm trying to find the easiest way for me to do it and not let perfectionism win. All right. I'm working on it. Okay. We're going to get there. We're going to get there. But that's what this is for me. This is me pushing myself to be seen. And I've tried multiple times throughout the years. I've tried, but perfectionism just, sometimes it takes over. But the healing is in the story. So, no, I can't promise you consistency, but I can promise you, what I can promise you, when I do show up, okay, I'm going to be helpful. I'm going to be insightful. You will never be the same after listening to me, whether I'm here every week, or here every other month, or here once a year, which I'm working on it. Okay. If you see me If you see me being consistent, then I'm winning the battle. If not, I'm struggling a little bit, and my clients are okay, but me, my perfectionism, sometimes yeah, sometimes it gets back. I'm in an abusive relationship, DV relationship with perfectionism. I am. Okay. It's not funny. It's very, very, it's toxic. It's a struggle. Um, if you are a Virgo or Pisces, or you have those placements in your chart, or Capricorn, can be perfectionist as well. Geminis for sure can be perfectionist for sure. Libras. It's a lot of it's a when I talk about the different signs, it's what changes based off of the sign is the way they can be a perfectionist, right? Like what particular things make them a perfectionist, right? And can debilitate them. But also if you got these signs in your chart, your full chart, okay, it could be an issue. It really can be. But oh my gosh, I'm proud of myself. And I want to thank every last one of you guys for joining my live. I really do. I'm very, very proud of myself for just getting up here and doing it. Like I've been sitting here at the computer since noon. Oh, my mom's calling. Hold on. I'll call her back. But I've been sitting up here since noon trying to figure out what I was gonna talk about. Okay. And the last time I posted was 3 months ago. And I posted videos that I had for over a year now. Right? That's how bad my perfectionism can get. All right. But we're in this together, and I appreciate you tuning in to my live. I hope you have gotten some sort of support, some sort of help by listening to me. Okay. Again, follow me wherever you're watching me. Follow me. All right. So you can come back, even if you don't see me all the time. You can always come back. Okay. You can always come back and rewatch, right? And be inspired and get confirmation or share whatever you feel like may help somebody. Okay. So we're gonna leave it at that. Hooray for me. Um, you can find me on livingbegreat.com. My services, I give readings and I do coaching. I'm also a spiritual psychological life coach. So yeah, I combine my spirituality, life coaching together, my psychology together with my individual coaching sessions, my family coaching sessions, my co-parenting sessions, okay, my couple sessions, which are awesome. Like, don't look at it as needing help. Look at it as you have the right to have support during this lifetime and to feel like you're doing everything that you can do to be the best person you can be. Why not? No regrets. No regrets. Okay? Thank you again. And until next time, give yourself permission to live and be great. Okay. Bye, y'all. Thank you. Follow me.